Well, there you go, guys. How about that? An absolute corking mirror carp. St John's Pool 19-pounder. Really, really pleased with this guy. Caught on the lead core rigs. I'm going to show you how to use lead core safely. Vitally important that you do so. If you're going to use lead core, you've got to use it right. I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, we're moving on to lead core rigs, how to fish them safely and how to use it in combination with the Chod rig, which is the general pairing of the two. The key thing, guys, with lead core, there's a few things that you must bear in mind. First of all, don't use really long lengths, 4 or 5 feet at the absolute outset. You know, that's as much as you're going to need. Secondly, do not fish lead core with low diameter, low breaking strain lines. I use it with 20-pound subline or 15-pound subline, which is 0.4 and 0.43 respectively. If I'm fishing at long range, 15, you know, 100 yards, I never fish further than that really anyway. And for most of my fishing in the summer, the weed's up, 20-pound subline. It sinks brilliantly, it's tough, and you're not going to be losing tackle. So that's the key thing. Fish safe and fish strong when you're using lead core. Good reel line that's really up to the job. Don't use long lengths. I'm using, this is actually a version of the rig that I've caught the fish on this session. So I'm going to talk you through what's going on here and a few of the key features. This is weed green cable lead core, which is one of our new products. It changes colour throughout its length, and when it's wet, if you drop it in the edge, it tones really, really well with different types of weed growth because it does fade in and out. It's got that sort of mottled appearance. Very, very strong. Sinks well, and it's very, very supple as well. You can see how soft this rig is. You know, it genuinely will follow the contours of the lake bed. The lead, first of all, this is a 1.5 ounce swivel pair. Cut the swivel off. Generally, you want to be using the smallest lead that you can get away with on this type of rig. Now, I've spliced one of our small quick links onto the end of that, and that's used for quick change the lead. I may occasionally go up to a 2, never any bigger, and I may go down to a 1.1 depending on the distance that I'm fishing. So that's spliced onto there, lead's attached there. Next I've got a weedy green heli rubber which sits down like that, makes everything nice and neat. And then coming up the lead core, we've got one of our new barrel beads. This is a prototype, so I'm not sure when you'll see these, but it's designed to grip the lead core so that you can, if you're fishing a short hook link, it will keep the hook away from the lead. And it slides, when you hook a fish, it just slides down and locks against there, like so. As you can see, if you didn't have that and it was just sat there, then your hook point is very close to the lead. When you're winding it in, it can occasionally blunt the hook point. So it just gives you that bit of separation. So I set the bead about there. Next we've got a running section, which on my rigs I've got a running section of about 3 to 4 feet. So I'm setting the top bead right up near the end of the lead core. Now if you're going to do that, that means that your rig is going to settle nicely over the weed, but you need to fish it with a very, very slack line, obviously, because you don't want the part of the lead core lifting off the bottom and then raising your rig up off of the bottom. It's very, very important. So very slack lines are essential with this kind of presentation. So before we actually get to the chod section that's running happily up and down there, we're going to look at the safety part of the top of the rig, which is the key part of this really. Now, again, these are prototype components, and I'll show you this first of all. That is the sleeve. You can see it's a tapered sleeve, very, very thin at one end, very, very thick at the other. The reason for that is that when the swivel is running up, now let's imagine this is a lost rig and the fish has got the hook link and he's got to free himself. He's got to be able to shake the lead and the lead core and get rid of it and just be left with the hook link, which he will get rid of in his own time. But very important, a fish can get rid of the leader. So the thin part is to allow the swivel, or the ring swivel rather, to run up onto the sleeve like that. You don't want it to jam and lock as some bits of tubing can do, so it runs up nice and easy onto there. And then the thick part is where the bead sits down over the top like that. It's designed to be a tailor fit. Now, if you look down the barrel of the bead, you'll see a very, very big bore. Absolutely critically important, because that means it will just absolutely fly off the end of the lead core over any knot, even bits of weed, very, very easily. I've landed a couple of fish when these have been right up the line, even when there's been weed and so on over the knot. So it does genuinely fly off very, very well. Now you might think, as we did when we got this far, that that's probably as safe as you can get with a lead core rig, but not so. At Korda we've taken it another level. We've got a component which I'm going to show you now, very, very simple. It's just a prototype, and we're playing around with it. You might see it out in 2012, but we believe that this is going to make lead core safety, or take lead core safety to a whole other level. So I'm going to take that bead off. I'm going to put on the new bead. Just moisten that down before I do. Okay, so there you got the same sort of combination. You've got the tapered sleeve with the bead on top. So you're thinking probably, how on earth can that be safer than what we already started with? Well, the magic of this is when the rig hits it, prepare to be amazed at the simplicity and effectiveness of this. When the rig hits it, the bead just falls away. It's a disappearing upper chod bead. Now, you can't have anything safer than that. A nice big ring from the ring swivel, that's going to come off absolutely easily, even if there's weed on the end of the leader. So look out for those in the future from Korda. We're working on developing those components. We're also patenting them and protecting them so that we don't get copied. Really excited about those. Those beads, you know, we think they're going to make rigs a lot safer. And if you're looking to use lead core rigs, helicopter rigs, chod rigs, anything like that in 2012 onwards, then look out for those beads and the barrel beads and the sleeve components, because they really do take safety to another level. There you go, guys. That's proof of safe lead core rigs working well. Use them as I've showed you, and let's look after these beautiful creatures. Really pleased with this one.